Today, we are going to be ranking 0 mana artifacts on a tier list. We got our tier list ready, so let's get our artifacts. Let's start the conversation off with Ornithopter, a classic. This is a classic of Magic the Gathering. It's really old. I don't know if anyone knows this, but this came from Antiquities. What was the year on Antiquities? Copyright, I don't see a year here. That's a long time ago. It was printed 1,000,000 times. And it's seen play in some of the most busted decks possible, between Affinity and Hammer Time, or some just random deck that needs to spew out a bunch of 0 drops. Tommy Sidden's there with the 1994, what is it, 1994, 1995, somewhere around there. It's an oldie but a goldie. In the Hammer Time deck, this actually becomes a real powerhouse because you have a 0/2 flyer. You can attack, and then you, at flash speed, equip a Colossus Hammer to this thing to smack your opponent for 10 damage. So the flying is really underrated. Grossly underrated. I think at the time that they printed this, it's like, this is pointless. It's just a 0 mana. It's like a tiny wall, little tiny wall. If you can get like a 0/4 wall for 2 mana, then 0 mana for a 0/2 that flies, that's no problem. I don't even know why I can block at all for a flyer. It should be 0/1. But I would say that this card is very much like the, what's it called? The girl that's in front of the burning building. And I'll explain why. Because whenever you look at a deck that's like completely broken, you don't end up suspecting the Ornithopter, even though the Ornithopter contributes significantly to that house burning down. All right, so what are we gonna judge Ornithopter as? Hold on, let's get the more modern picture. I'm actually gonna give Ornithopter a nice solid B. I would put it higher, but I think we're going to have way more busted cards on this list. Mishra's Bauble says lucky roll 20. All right, let's go take a look at Mishra's Bauble. This is also similar to this is like the Burning House girl's friend over here. 0 mana, tap, sacrifice Mishra's Bauble, look at the top card of target player's library, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. This has been fueling Delve cards for forever. That's basically its only point, is to fuel Delve. It also helps with Delirium, so it has 2 points to it. So you can help with Dragon Rage Chandler, you can help with what's it called? Traverse the Ulvenwald. You can help with card types for Tarmogoyf. It's a pretty big deal. And it costs nothing. Of course, it costs absolutely nothing. I don't know if there's anything else that I can add to this. Helps with Delirium. It's just free fuel for the graveyard to help you cast bigger creatures or increase card types for Tarmogoyf. Was incredibly important to the Death Shadow archetype. And while, it's also helped empty the hand for prison decks that are trying to get Ensnaring Bridge out. Oh, I forgot about that. Ensnaring Bridge decks like Mishra's Bauble, because if they cannot empty their hand fast enough, they cannot stabilize and take control of the game quickly. Also, yes, there is the thing with the fun with the fetches. So you can look at the top card of your library, and then if you don't like it, you fetch and you basically get rid of it. Feels a bit niche, but good in a few decks that want it. You know what? I would agree with you. It does look like only a few decks want it, but repeatedly more and more and more and more decks want to adopt this card. It sees play in the Urza decks. You can just have it on the battlefield and add mana with this thing if you need it. All right, where are we going to put this thing? I think I'm going to put it with Ornithopter in B. Where do I put C? No, it's too much utility here. It sees a bit too much play. Like, this is just a strong, I'm gonna put B as like strong tournament playable card. Was it used in Urza? I can't remember. Can't tell you. All right, we need more cards, people. What else do we got? 0 mana. It's so innocent since it's basically a free card that is a peak. Oh, that's a good Sort of. It's like a semi-mini peak. Tormod's Crypt. By Gyafufu. There's also another card that has been around since the Dark. Oh, man. Okay, 0 mana. Tap, sacrifice Tormod's Crypt to remove all cards in target player's graveyard from the game. I think this card ended up being, like, way better back in the day when there wasn't so much graveyard hate, but these days there's a lot of competition for graveyard hate. In fact, 0 mana just exile one person's graveyard is not the most amazing. You know, you'd prefer a little bit of more utility on top of that. It had really good combos with Lurrus, though. It was an amazing card with Lurrus. It was like, it really broke the Lurrus mirror. During each of your turns, you may cast one permanent spell with convert mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. So I get the new synergy with Tormod's Crypt, though, is that it doesn't really matter. I was thinking of, what's it called, Urza Saga. But they just prefer to get a 1-drop. You can find a 0-drop, but why get Tormod's Crypt when you can get something better? So, this is it's good, but it's not anybody's first choice, I think, in my opinion, when it comes to graveyard hate. So we're gonna put this one at like a C, more of a niche playable card. Not bad, but niche playable. We'll just say D is just straight up bad. Memnite, says Ramen Corella. Okay, let's go look at Memnite. Very good card. But only playable basically in an affinity decks. And Hammer Time. That's the only place I think I've seen it. It is basically Ornithopter, but weaker because no flying. And also, I find that, at least in affinity sideboard guides, that post-board they end up siding this thing out. Because this is just one of the weaker creatures. It's 0 mana, but it doesn't have evasion. So if you try to equip Nettle Cyst, Cranial Plating, or in the terms of Hammer Time, Colossus Hammer, this thing is going to get blocked on the ground. Remember, at least Ornithopter can attack first, and you flash after blockers have been declared, and they haven't blocked the Ornithopter. You can flash in the Colossus Hammer. But this is it's still playable. You got to show respect for Memnite. It's been around there. It's been hanging out in the metagame, so I think we can give Memnite a C. It's like playable card, a little bit more niche. I don't think there's just I would like to put it here, because I think it's on a very similar power level as Ornithopter, but I know you get cut in sideboards. And I know you're definitely not as good as Ornithopter. Okay, Matt Wazik says Black Lotus. What would a tier list like this be without Black Lotus? The Black Lotus. We want the Alpha Black Lotus. You know, believe it or not, there's debate whether this is the best card in the game. Because, like, in Cube Draft, it'll get you 3 mana. Yeah, you get your ramp out, but, like, if you just put out, like, a creature or something, they kill it. Well, that was... It might not be enough to actually win the game. You might actually want Ancestral Recall. But nevertheless, it is the best source of mana. Combo decks love this card. It's basically part of the vintage combo deck. What would I call it? The starter kit. Starter pack. Sol Ring is better in draft than Black Lotus. See, Black Lotus is not clearly like the best artifact on the block. It can backfire. Like, when you play Black Lotus, you better win the game, just like back in the day when they played Channel Fireball. That was the whole idea. Play a bunch of Black Lotuses, get your Channel, get your Fireball, and then kill your opponent on the spot right then and there. Ancestral Recall is the best card in the game. Well, there's debate around that. I don't know what the best card in the game is, to be honest. I can't quantify that. Alright. Okay, definitely S tier, though. Thanks to Black Lotus, you can win before the game has even started. Mox Opal. It's amazing how many 0 mana cards that they've printed in this game. Mox Opal, 0 mana, Metalcraft. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. I think this is up there with the OG Moxen, because in the decks with the these types of artifacts. Sorry, in artifact-based decks, this is just Moxen. You can't play more than one, so it artificially is restricted in the deck, although you can tap one for mana, play another Mox Opal, and sacrifice the other one. But this is, without a doubt, the reason why Affinity was such a powerhouse in Modern for, like, many years, until they could just straight up ban this thing. And now the artifact decks, they've slowed down! They have slowed down. They're still around, but they're not ridiculously prominent because they're winning game 1 for free because they've got these damn Mox Opals. Solid A for Opal? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this an A or is this an S? I really honestly think that this is just like a regular Mox. In an artifact deck, it's not going to act any differently. I mean, sure, you have to play some creatures, but, like, you know how many 0-mana creatures there are in this game. Tommy Sidden says S. Gustavo says S. How many people say S? I'd say this is an S. I think it's an S. If we're going to put the other I really cannot put Mox Opal in a tier like an A. I can't do it. So I'm sure someone else can do it. I'm not going to do it. Not on my tier list. It is the closest thing to a Moxen, is bananas. Stupid Moxen. Okay, speaking of Moxes, let's look at Mox Amber. You see, this is a Mox. This is a Mox that's not too overpowered. It's good though. 0 mana, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. Does everyone remember when this thing collapsed in price? Let's see, hold on, Mox Amber. People were so hyped for this thing that it saw no play, and then it started seeing play, and then, MTG Moxman, I hope you bought as many as you could at the bottom. I think he did. He's a huge fan of, named his channel off of this thing, I think. Where does it see play now, though? Does anyone play this thing? Chemistry says this should be a B. Juan says this should be a B. Andrew says this should be a B. Opal is even a 3 of in Vintage Paradoxical Outcome. It just goes to show that it's a real Mox. It's better. They can play more than... You know what? In Vintage, Mox Opal is actually better than your OG Moxen because you can play more than one in your deck. EDH playable? Is that all that it sees now? Only a playable, you tell me. Okay, well then we're gonna put it. We'll put it in B. But it has upside. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it's an A. Maybe it's even an S. Who knows? Okay, what's another? Jeweled Lotus. Is that a real card? Oh, this thing! I was thinking of something else. Jeweled Lotus, 0 mana. Sacrifice Jeweled Lotus. Add 3 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only cast your commander. Okay, I'm gonna need a little help from the commander fam over there. The commander crew. Is this S or this A tier? This is clearly great. Now, I can see the argument for A, though, because multicolor commanders cannot make great use of this. This is only very, very good versus for... this is only a snap include if you have, like, a monocolor commander. We're seeing some S's here. I'm seeing a lot of S's here. S, S. Okay, we're not seeing any A's. Sacrifice a Jeweled Lotus. Add 3 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast your commander. Wow, it's just ramping the power creep in the commander format. Toxic with Narset? Why is that? See, Torch is out there saying, you know what, it's just an A. I can't think. If I play a 4-color commander, I can't make use of this thing. Torch trying to get in there with 2 votes. I see you, Torch. I see you. Okay, so Jeweled Lotus, basically Black Lotus for your commander. They can't have Black Lotus in the format, but we can have Jeweled Lotus. Oh yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Oh, and I gotta get its picture. Oh, that's not his picture. There we go. Okay, enough people say this is just an S tier. Okay, looks good. I would play this. Oh, the 6 mana Narset. There's a big Narset. What about Lotus Bloom? Oh, great question. Let's look at... Hold on, could people see that? Yeah, they can barely see it. Lotus Bloom. This is a very interesting card because it sees, like... It's not completely broken. You can abuse this thing by trying to... If you can bring it back from the graveyard, if you can tutor it from your library onto the battlefield, then you basically have a Black Lotus. It is tap, sacrifice Lotus Bloom, add 3 mana of any color. But it's got the catch. It's got suspend. So for 0 mana, you got to suspend it for 3 turns. Rather than cast this card from your hand, pay 0, exile it with 3 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last is removed, cast it without paying its mana cost. It's funny, if your Lotus Bloom comes into play by turn 4, sorry, if your Black Lotus is restricted to turn 4, it's okay! It's okay, and your opponent gets to see it in advance. It has no mana value, so it's not eligible. I have spoken. Oh! Disqualified. It is disqualified. No, it needs, you know what? No, I was thinking of making this, I was actually thinking of making this tier list about free spells, including like Ancestral Recall, Living End, Hypergenesis. And you know what? This goes under that category. Disqualified. Yeah, suspend 3 is, well, it costs, yeah, but it's not 0 mana. That's the topic. The topic is 0 mana. Yeah, get it out of here. I'd put it at probably B, or I'd probably put it at B though. It's a good playable card. Definitely a scene play, not completely overpowered. Mox Tantalite? No, I think that's another suspend card, right? Yeah. Here, let's just go with another obvious Mox Sapphire. We got to get the OG Moxen out of here. It's the Mox Sapphire, 0 mana. Add 1 blue to your mana pool. Same thing with Ruby. What is it? Mox Sapphire, Ruby, Pearl, Jet, Emerald. There we go. Can you name all the Moxen, all the OG Moxen? I know I can. Alright. Hang out with all your other brothers here. Brothers and sisters in Moxen world here. It's 0 to suspend, so how does it not have a mana cost? Because it does not have the mana cost in the top right corner. There should be something here. It has a mana value. It is a mana value of 0, but doesn't have a... It's not a 0 mana card, if you get my drift. Yeah, all the original Moxen are S tier. Zuron Orb. Oh, that's a cute one. Is this, like, really good in Commander by any chance? Where can I find the OG good Zuron? There we go. Close enough. I'll take this. Because it doesn't see a whole lot of play in Modern, and it sees, like, really fringe play in Legacy. 0 mana, sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. Burn players hate this card. All of a sudden, lands are a resource. And it's basically, lands are more or less like a pretty strong counter spell to all of their spells. Looks awful. Terrible. It's not unplayable, though. It's not unplayable. This is actually a playable 0-drop. Very niche, I guess. Hey, when you're up against a burn deck, or you need to... I don't know if they brought it in versus Delver, the decks that play this card, just to save yourself a few more turns. But, it's a playable card. It was, let's see, okay, Spencer Ward is going to tell us a little bit about history. Was broken back during Necro Summer, was banned for a while. Oh, that's interesting. Gain some life and draw more cards. Lands are a double resource when you are planning on winning with Price of Progress. Ooh. Get rid of your lands. Millmaster with the super chat. Kobolds of Care Keep. Okay, I gotta look at. I'm gonna look into that. So Zuron Orb, it's obviously you guys, you're not giving respect to the Zuron Orb, but it is definitely like a slightly playable card. But if I can't put it in the same category as Memnite, that just looks silly. Okay, we gotta put in D. I guess that D is for fringe playables and unplayables. Unplayable 0-drops. It's just how it's got to be. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not showing off my beautiful tier list here. Okay, Millmaster says Kobolds of Care Keep. Is that 0 mana? I don't know. Kobolds of Care. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Is that on the what's it called? Reserve list? You never know. Okay, so this is from Legends. This is a 0 mana 0/1 in red. This card is a red spell when cast, and kobolds are a red creature. Just in case there was any confusion. It's not even an artifact. Oh, it's disqualified. Disqualified. It's hard. We're naming artifacts without 0 mana, and now we're naming creatures with 0 mana creatures that are not artifacts. Yeah, X buzz sound. This is really bad. This is really far off from being an artifact. Paradise Mantle. Oh man, I love this card. I love and hate this card. It's sort of a stupid card. It's an equipment. 0 mana, equip creature has tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, equip for 1 mana. And it comboed off very nicely with pure, what is it called? Pure Sight Marrow. This is a really fringe jank combo, but like you could equip. So the idea is you can use the Paradise Mantle after you equip with Pure Sight Marrow to tap it to add a mana, because that's what Paradise Mantle does. And then Pure Sight Marrow has this weird untap ability where you have to pay a mana, untap it, and look at the top card of your library. You can remove it from the game. Well, that's great because now it's untapped, and we can retap it with Paradise Mantle, and we basically can look through and exile our entire deck, or at least dig for a very specific card that we need. But it also saw play, I believe, in Cheerios. This was a Cheerios combo card. Cheerios like this card as well. Pure Steel Paladin Storm. It was used into, yeah. Well, for that we call it Cheerios. I've never heard anyone call it Pure Steel Paladin Storm. Although I have to admit, that is a better name. Because you don't know what Cheerios does, but if you call it Pure Steel... Like, if you play against Cheerios for the first time, you're like, how does this deck win? Are you going to soup up this one? It was a deck around Pure Steel Paladin and SRAM. And the whole idea is that when you cast an equipment spell... so yeah, whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you can draw a card. SRAM is whenever the equipment enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So basically, you keep chaining these 0 mana equipment together, draw your entire deck, because you can, like, what was it called? Retrace? You could bounce all your artifacts back to your hand. Retract, maybe? Yeah, retract. Return all artifacts you control to their owner's hands. So you'd then bounce all your 0 mana equipment back to your hand, replay them all, draw a bunch of cards again, and then you win with Grape Shot. But you have no idea how you're going to lose the game as this combo is going off. Especially with a name like Cheerios. And it was called Cheerios because you're just playing with a bunch of zeros in your deck. Playing with a bunch of zeros in your deck. Magic deck names in 2022 are pure garbage fire. It's not like the old days where you named it after a breakfast cereal. Cocoa Pebbles, Tricks. Yeah, people don't know this. Way back in the day, they named Magic decks off of, like, breakfasts. There was one called Full English Breakfast. Chalice of the Void counts? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Alright, Paradise Mantle. This is a solid D. That is a D if I ever saw one. Right down there in D territory. Mana Crypt. Arguably one of the best cards. I mean, maybe the second best card here. Thanks so much for the suggestion, Dead. Yeah, Mana Crypt, 0 mana, at the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Mana Crypt deals 3 damage to you. Add 2 colorless. Where did this come from? Did this seriously just come from a book? Is this just a book promo? Master's Edition? Like, this wasn't printed in any official set, right? I think this was just some promo in a book. It's got this, like, very unique symbol over here. This is almost like a joke card. This is like an unglued card that ended up being, somehow playable in formats. Some way, somehow, some why. It was a magazine. Joseph says, yes. Yes, it was only a book promo. Did it see play immediately in, like, Legacy at the time, or the vintage of the time? Or was this, like, straight up banned immediately? Tommy's like, we should call this list the best fetchable cards for Urza Saga. So anyway, this is just ridiculously busted. This is a lot of mana that you get repeatedly. It's 0 mana Soul Ring. And we know how good Soul Ring is. 0 mana Soul Rings, you are S tier. S tier in my mind. It's interesting to maybe rank these things. Mana Crypt, like, I would put Mana Crypt maybe higher than, definitely higher than Mox Opal and the Sapphire. Because this just produces more mana. It's repeated mana over the course of the game. This, for the mana producer, I wonder if this is the best. I don't know if anyone has ever had an argument over the best mana producer in the game. Most people just blindly say Black Lotus. I disagree. I disagree. It's not so easy. John Tarrant says Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, let's look at Lion's Eye Diamond. The card that was unplayable until it wasn't unplayable. Then it became very playable. 0 mana, sacrifice Lion's Eye Diamond, discard your hand, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool, place ability as a mana source. This is, you know, basically also part of the combo deck starter kit. You can't get into your combo deck unless you're playing Lion's Eye Diamond of some fashion. And the whole point of it is that you need the mana, you need the extra mana, but you don't need the extra cards, because whatever's in the graveyard to regurgitate with, for example, Past in Flames. What else can you bring back from the graveyard or play from the graveyard? I'd call A LED an A tier card. I think this is going to be our first A tier. You can't jam it in every deck. This is very niche, and it's very, very good. Doesn't Doomsday run this? Probably. I haven't looked at any Doomsday lists personally. Does Dredge play this? I don't think they do, because they want to draw cards, actually. That's actually quite important for a Dredge list. I don't know if any Dredge lists play Lion's Eye Diamond, because if you, like, play Lion's Eye Diamond, or I guess what you can do is you can cast a draw spell, in response crack your Lion's Eye Diamond, and then you've got a card draw on the stack. Definitely Storms use this. With Underworld Breach, yeah, also good. Legacy Dredge 100% plays this? Okay. I was just thinking, I don't see many Dredge lists in Legacy. You don't run against them too much. Or I haven't played Legacy in a long time, I should say. But when I was playing, it was like, Dredge was a very fringe deck, because there was already more than enough hate for it. Yawgmoth's Will plus Lion's Eye Diamond. What do you guys think? Okay. Is this it? So, this is obviously one of the most busted cards in a combo deck. You know, just like Mox Opal is a busted card in an artifact deck. So is this S tier or is this A tier? I think this is really restricted, and it's also very restricted in gameplay. You can only start cracking this usually when you got your game plan on. Like, you can't just, like, with, at least with, Mox, what's it called? Mox Opal, you can play it, it's useful in the early game and the late game. Okay, we got the Cardboard Coffee crew has spoken. Some people say S, but it's like basically A city here. Call triple A. We have our first A. Very strong playable. Very strong. Strong staple, but not outrageously broken. Also, didn't see play until we could start casting stuff from the graveyard, so it's fair on that way too. Claws of Gix. The hell is that? Zero mana, Pay 1, sacrifice a permanent, you gain 1 life. Alright, does this see playing Commander or something? I don't know where... Does this see play anywhere? Some people want it. Urza Saga... It's like $2.36 from Urza Saga. I don't know what the combo is with this thing, if there is a combo. I'm putting it straight to D. I do know what it's got something going for it. You can sack a permanent, you can gain a life. So it's a sack outlet. So I don't doubt that there's actually potential for this card. In fact, it's modern playable because it's in the time spiral. It's in the time spiral, time shifted. I could see it as a fringe EDH play. Oh, Sugarcane, thanks so much for the super chat. The fixed Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker. Or sorry, the fixed... I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Phyrexian Walker? Is that a card? They fixed Ornithopter. They removed the flying and gave it an extra toughness. Hilarious. Okay, well, okay, I'll put, just for that, we'll put this on D. So we'll give this D. Not seeing any play anywhere whatsoever. But then getting back to this card, if it doesn't see any real play anywhere, it's going straight to D as well. Like, I've never heard of this card. I just learned this card existed 1 minute ago. Closet Gix. We've got, thanks so much, Black Lance. How about Jeweled Amulet, obscure Ice Age card? Interesting. Okay, so 0 mana, pay 1, put a charge counter on Jeweled Amulet, note the type of mana spent to pay this activation cost. Play this ability only if there are no charge counters on Jeweled Amulet. Remove a charge counter from Jeweled Amulet. Add 1 mana of Jeweled Amulet's last noted type to your mana pool. So it's like, isn't this like Coalition Relic? Well, what's the difference? So you can put a counter on Jeweled Amulet. Has anyone heard of this card? Okay, hold on. If I understand this card, put a charge counter. Note the type of mana. Remove a charge counter. Activate this ability if there. Oh, you cannot. But you can't build on them. This doesn't seem that bad. This looks like. This is giving me such Coalition Relic vibes. Is it really that bad? But this can add... Okay, so this can add 1 mana of any color by itself. It costs 3 mana. You have to put a charge counter on Coalition Relic. Oh, okay, so I think the problem with this card is you have to pay mana to charge it up, and it does nothing by itself. It does nothing by itself. Alright, so we're putting in D, but this is like a it's sort of an interesting D. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's like a pretty neat... I think it's a pretty neat D card. Oh, D is filling up all of a sudden. D is filling up. Ashnod's Coupon? Did we go through the whole Wii theme without acknowledging the sponsors? Okay, hold on. Before we... Oh, this is not even a real card. This isn't even a real card. We're going to skip it straight to Urza's Bauble. Okay, but before we evaluate Urza's Bauble, we do got to thank our sponsors. FusionGamingOnline.com. Your one-stop shop for all your paper Magic needs. I get all my singles from FusionGamingOnline.com. They've got everything in stock. Deal of the week. Save 15% off all Legends singles cards. Because the new set is coming out. They're going to have Legend cards in there. So I guess, you know, get it. If you're excited for Legend cards all of a sudden, go get 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget, though, to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And we're going to thank our other sponsor, Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards on Magic the Gathering online. If you want to test cards or decks out in any format, you are best to do it when you are renting the deck, not buying these cards, because if it doesn't work out, you got to sell it at a loss. But when you rent, you can rent as unlimited number of times as you want. The cards don't work out, you send them back, you get some new ones, perfect your deck, and play the best decks in the meta game. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu underscore 9Y6. And back to Urza's Bauble. Urza's Bauble, 0 mana. Sacrifice Urza's Bauble to choose a card at random from target player's hand. Look at that card. Ignore this ability if the player has no cards left in hand. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. It seems playable. Has this seen a shred of Legacy play is my question. I'm sure this sees Commander play if you just need a bunch of 0 mana cards. I'm sure it goes in like the Urza deck. CEDH card. Alright, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. And it sees competitive play somewhere. I don't care where the competitive play is. Yes, in 8 cast? Okay, it sees play in multiple places. Alright, so this is going to be a... fringe staple. Or is it? To C or to D? What does the Cardboard Coffee Crew say? Definitely not. It's definitely not going to A. That's crazy. You lost your damn minds. It could go to B. It could go to C. All right, we'll put it. I'll put it in B. We'll give it a little bit of a B. I guess it's some playable somewhere, somehow. Oh, we got some C's here. We got one B. Not many people feel passionate about this card. We got another B. Good enough. All right, we'll just say it's B. Play it in CEDH and get back with us. All right, so that sounds like it's good. It's a good B card. So just a good staple, good solid staple. It's basically the same as Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, but like looking at like a random card in your opponent's hand feels a bit useless. Could be just a bunch of lands. Have we talked? Yeah, we did talk about Zero Orb. You can check the replay for Zero Orb. Okay, have we run out of 0 drops? There's got to be more 0 drops in this game. Frogmite. Affinity should be honorary 0 drops. No, but it's not technically. It's not. They are technically not 0 drops. Everflowing Chalice is an XX spell, so that doesn't. We're disqualifying that as well. Lotus Petal. There we go. It's basically the Simian Spirit Guide of whatever format this is played in, and it's played in many formats between Legacy and also Pauper. It's a common. It's a weird card for a common. Is this Is this a common? No. Doesn't this see play in I swear this sees play somewhere. Okay, hold on. I was saying, like, I was double checking if it was common because I saw some price tags here. I saw $121 and $444 over here, but these are just like really promo cards. But from Tempest and Mystery Booster, they're like 20 bucks. So it is a common. Yeah, I was pretty sure I could swear I've seen you. I saw you from that Pauper party. Lotus Petal is a common. Oh, Everflowing Chalice. Oh, I am wrong then. Okay, we'll check out Everflowing Chalice. Legacy Reanimator. It's a Simian Spirit Guide. It's a Simian Spirit Guide of like combo decks. But it's actually really, really useful. You know what? I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it up here. So I don't think I can put it down here. I don't think it's a Mishra's Bauble, a Mox Amber type of card. It's just a little bit too good for that. But it's not quite S tier because you have to sacrifice it and then it's just gone. I mean, it's just clearly weaker than Black Lotus. Alright, so Everflowing Chalice. How good is this in Commander, like at a competitive point of view? How good is this in Commander? It has seen play in like in competitive Magic. It's way better than Ornithopter. It's way better than Ornithopter. It's kind of niche in Commander. I would also say it's kind of niche in competitive Magic as well. This sees play in like Dice Factor or whatever. It's like really fringe. It's only good in Urza. Yeah, Fufu really trying to get this welding jar on here. All right, we'll talk about welding jar. Okay, Everflowing Chalice. I'm not going to discuss too much about this. It sees a little bit of play, but not enough. Does it? You know what? I'm gonna move Memnite. I'm moving Memnite up because I just don't like it here. So like I want to put the bottom on the bottom. There's just completely unplayable, like barely playables. And maybe I should do the same thing with Everflowing Chalice. Or maybe we're gonna put Memnite back. All right, I'm sorry Memnite that I moved you. I'm just gonna put Everflowing Chalice on D. It just doesn't really see any play. It sees play, but it's just too fringe. Oh, could you guys see that? You cannot see it. The tier list. Okay, I'm just gonna stop messing around. Okay, what was Welding Jar? Straight playable in Affinity. That's all I'm just gonna say. And maybe some other in other formats. It actually does double duty as protecting the creatures, but also protecting your hate pieces that you might bring in from the sideboard. So anything you find with Urza Saga, if you needed to protect like a Grafdigger's Cage, you could do that with Welding Jar as well. So if you have to protect Grafdigger's Cage, you got to protect Pithing Needle, you can do that with Welding Jar. So I think that is a straight playable. Very niche though, because not many decks can play this card. Chuck says Chrome Mox. Oh god, this card is great. When Chrome Mox enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand. Add 1 mana of any of the exiled cards' colors. Chrome Mox is banned with very good reason. It is debatably better than... Sorry, no, it's not debatably. It's worse than Mox Opal. That was the thing. Mox Opal was legal when Chrome Mox was banned, when Mox Opal was clearly a better card than Chrome Mox. So we'll know that this is not an S tier type card, but it's incredibly good. I mean, it's mana ramp. It would go into a huge number of decks. Some tribal decks have played Chrome Mox before. All right, this is a solid A card. Not quite S tier broken. Does cost you a card, but it's great mana ramp. What do we have? Mox Tantalite is disqualified for not having a 0 in the mana cost. Lodestone Bauble. We're just getting all the baubles. I've never even heard of this bauble. Pay 1, sacrifice Lodestone Bauble, put up to 4 target basic land cards from a player's graveyard on top of his or her library in any order. That player draws a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's hilarious. You can sort of mana flood somebody with this card. That's neat. I could mana flood someone. D. Uh-oh, D is running out of room. We need a bigger tier list. DeLeaf's Cone. It's funny, once we've gone through all the regular 0 mana cards, we're now left with some insanely fringe cards I've never heard of. 0 mana, tap. Sacrifice DeLeaf's Cone. If target creature you control attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to gain its power in life. If you do so, it deals no damage to opponent this turn. Whoa! I didn't know we could find a card. I didn't know we could find a card that was worse than everything else. Okay, so we're gonna go underneath the tier list. Oh, how do I get this thing off? You guys can't see it, but you guys can sort of see it. Okay, that's where this thing is going. It's off the map. It's so bad. The 0 mana equipments are missing, stuff like Cheerios decks. Yeah, we could get Bone Saw. Well, we had one. We had Paradise Mantle here. We'll put one more. Bone Saw. Again, another Cheerios piece, as we discussed earlier. To equip creature gets +1/+0, but it's meaningless. You only have it because of it's only being played in the deck because it's a 0 mana equipment. Here, we'll put it right underneath the Paradise Mantle. They all go together. They're basically unplayable, except in their one deck. Spellbook? Is that a card? It is. You have no maximum hand size. Does anyone even play this? Spider Silken Net, another one of those 0 mana equipments. Yeah, it's technically a card. You have no maximum hand size. This. Why is it even $1? Okay, I guess it has to be somewhat playable in. I'm guessing this is somewhat playable in Commander, because like if you're drawing a million cards, you don't have to discard to hand size. It's like the Reliquary Tower in artifact form. Okay. You know what? It's gonna save itself from getting to D. Yeah, Reliquary Tower on an artifact. Here, we can just put it over here with C. I don't think that's too bad. I don't mind at all. All right, we've got Francis C with the super chat. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Strixhaven Stadium. You mean Strixhaven? I think you mean Strixhaven. Strixhaven Stadium. When you're super chatting, you can take your time. This is not a 0 mana artifact at all. Disqualified. This is whoops. What am I doing here? Pulling out the big no here. This is 0 mana artifacts. Yeah, the big buzz sound. This is the second super chat that was wasted on an illegal card. And Steven says, thank you so much for the super chat. I ran a spellbook in my Sienna Elegeth partner deck. Oh yes, it will work out. I can see spellbook seeing some real serious play. If you draw like a million cards and it's a bit weird though. If you draw a million cards and you haven't won the game, then maybe you misbuilt your deck. I looked up 0-drop artifacts on Scryfall and we are running out of good options. Oh damn. No, we did 0 on Orb. Mox Diamond. That's a hot one. How did we miss this one for so long? All right, OG and Stronghold. When Mox Diamond comes into play, choose and discard a land card or sacrifice Mox Diamond. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source. No, this is a beautiful card. Yeah, 0 mana. It enables a lot of people to play their commanders, like very, very early. I mean, you could say that about a lot of cards. But it's like Chrome Mox, but for lands. So it's the land Chrome Mox. Bring on the bad options. Oh yeah, there's tons of space at the bottom of the tier list. Yeah, Legacy Lands loves this card. Will you save the stream? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be there for the replay. Soul Talisman technically does not have a mana cost. A or S? Definitely not S tier, but I think an A tier. Definitely A tier ready. So this is the tier list that we have so far. It looks pretty, actually. It looks really pretty. 0 mana artifacts, they're colorful. They got a lot of color in them. Look at that Ornithopter. Look at that mana Crypt. Mox Diamond in all CEDH. Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those fast mana pieces that you just have to have in your deck. You just jam every piece of fast mana. I wonder at what point does Mox Diamond get kicked out? Like, it's not the greatest piece of fast mana, but it's fast mana nonetheless. There's got to be a point where they print enough jeweled lotuses that you start kicking out traditional, like, artifact ramp. And I could see this going one day. You know, there's just not enough room, even in a 99 card deck. Lotus Bloom does not have a mana cost. Darksteel Relic does. Alright. Darksteel Relic is indestructible. Do I have a good, I do not have a good sound effect for this. Sugarcane says, thank you so much for the super chat. Brown is so much better than gray. I actually agree. I love foil. I love foil in this color. It is gorgeous. It is so good. I love it when they bring back the old artifact color. You let me know in the chat and also in the comments section. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the gray, or do you like the old-fashioned brown? The old-fashioned brown. Brown is great. Okay, Dark Steel Relic. Does this do anything? I think it does literally nothing. I think it's completely useless. Has it ever seen play anywhere at all before for any reason? I don't care. It doesn't need to be a good reason. Yeah, let's make our artifacts brown again. Without checking, you can play Mox Diamond in combo decks that probably have less than 31 lands. Absolutely. Why? Because at some point your mana sources get to be the Moxen. Okay, so you know where we're gonna put this? Beside that other thing that was down here. Yeah, right below the D tier list. Well, maybe we can make it pop its head a little bit. How do I pull this thing to the top? That's how you know your Dark Steel Relic. Where's this other one? There you go, you can see it. The shame! It's at the bottom of the D tier. The super bottom. The bottom of all bottoms. Shield Sphere. Oops, no shield. What is this? A 0/6 with Defender. When Shield Sphere blocks, put a -0 -1 counter on it. Okay. That is a solid F tier. Right next to all these other super solid F tiers. You basically made a deck for Weatherlight Captain. Cathar's Shield and Welding Jar. We have Welding Jar over here. Okay, but let's check out Cathar's Shield. I can't spell shield today. Equipped creature is +0/+3 and has vigilance. Equipped for 3. It's a okay, so it's a niche playable in Cheerios. It's actually D tier worthy. It's a solid D tier. Where? Right with Bonesaw and the rest of them. Oh, but I can't have it. It's covering the other one, but so be it. So many bad cards. What do you expect for 0 mana? Yeah, for 0 mana, you're either like doing something ridiculously busted or nothing at all. Back in the day, 0 mana wasn't so bad. They didn't care. Fountain of Youth. Let's go look up Fountain of Youth. I guess we're really stretching it now. 0 mana, pay 2, gain 1 life. Jeez, that's bad. That's terrible. Okay, we're going somewhere very far down in the corner here. And this is where Fountain of Youth is going. Right over there. And we're never going to speak to it again. It's gone now. I didn't need to know that existed. Dark Sphere. 0 mana, sacrifice Dark Sphere to prevent half of the damage done to you by a single source rounded down. This belongs with that Fountain card. You're over here? There. You get to be with each other in the dark. It is from the dark anyway. Shield Sphere should be D. Niche and Jihora Arcades? Wait, which one? Is this Shield Sphere? No, that's Fountain. Dark Sphere. Where's Shield Sphere? Dark Steel Relic. I don't know where Shield Sphere is. Is that a new card? Hold on, maybe I didn't look at that. Shield Sphere. Oh, I did see this card. Where did you go? Oh, did I just not rank this thing? Maybe I didn't rank it. Okay, we'll put it in D. Somebody played this sometime once upon a moon in Commander. Shield Sphere also saw play in Protein Hulk combo. Really? That's one of the most busted combos. All right, we'll put it in C. We'll give it an honorary C. Protein Hulk combo is serious business. That's big game. We actually have. You guys are naming a lot of cards already on this list. Paradise Mantle. It's a little hidden over here, but it's over here. The Herbal Poultice? What the hell is that? Sacrifice Herbal Poultice, regenerate target creature. It's like a super clunky welding jar, but for anything. What do you guys think? D tier or off the map? I could put it here, or I could put it here. We're gonna put it over here. Here, barely on the edge of D tier. Actually, I've never heard of this card. I'm putting it on the bottom. These other cards. Yeah, it's a second welding jar if you need it. Oh yeah, but it's 3 mana. It's very expensive for a welding jar. Very, very. Does it see EDH play? Okay, if it sees EDH play, you know what? We could give it a D tier. There we go. Gus the Scepter, because maybe someone can use it. Maybe. Are we running out of 0 mana artifacts? Remove a card in your hand from the game face down. You may look at it as long as it remains removed from the game. Return a card you own removed from the game with Gus the Scepter to your hand. When you lose control of Gus the Scepter, put all cards removed from the game with Gus the Scepter into their owner's graveyards. What? Return a card you own removed from the game with Gus the Scepter to your hand. What is this, like, supposed to protect you from Thoughtseize or something? What would this even do? Mox Paperweight. I don't know what this does. It came from alliances though, so it's probably pretty bad. Scepter, you get to hang out over here in no man's land. Tuck cards, Windfall, and get them back, maybe? Yeah, exactly, maybe. Memnite, we got Memnite here. Where's Memnite? There's our Memnite. We got Tormod's Crypt. Did we go through every 0-drop that exists? Maybe we went through every 0-drop. Okay, hold on. We got to investigate this. We're going to investigate. It has got to be colorless. It must have a mana value of... it can be legal anywhere. Mana value equal to 0. Needs to be an artifact. Whatever. Okay, let's just search with these options. Oh, it cannot be a land. Yeah, we better have... How do I make something an artifact, though? Text. Artifact? There we go. What are we missing? What are we missing? Okay, hold on. Let's make it a vintage legal card. Legal and vintage. So we don't see anything really stupid. They're still putting these damn lands on here. Alright, so... We didn't put a Cord Shield, but we don't need to. Yeah, XX don't count. A lot of X's here. We might have went through every single card that exists. I should have probably applied some of the XX ones. I should have just said mana value, because then we get the artifact lands on that list, and that's pretty interesting. Or maybe we could have a tier list of X spells. This type of artifact, mana equals 0. I think we got almost everything. We did a good job, chat. And by we, I mean you in this case. There's our tier list. Sort of petered out at the end. If XX is on the list, then Chalice would be on top. Well, what would Chalice be? Probably A. Probably a good A. It's like a really strong playable card. Super strong playable card. Seems kind of fun against Thoughtseize, though. Not good, but fun. Yeah, the hand tucking artifact. For one card, you don't get to see the best card in my hand. It's been taken away from you. All right. Anyway, you hear the music. That's it for Coffee and MTG, and I guess it's at a good time. We ran out of 0-mana artifacts to put on the tier list. Do you agree with the tier list? Do you disagree? Do you think anything should be higher or lower? Let me know in the comments section below. If you want to be part of the action, be part of the conversation, we do this Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much for the support, everyone. Thanks for becoming members of the channel and also with the super chats. Let me know you love Coffee and MTG, and we got to keep doing this every weekday. But thank you for being here, because without you guys, there would be no show. I'm going to like think of all these cards. No, you guys figured out every single 0-mana artifact that existed in Magic's history, and we plotted them all on the tier list. So if anyone wants to know the power level of them, now they know. And they probably now know some cards that they never heard of. And one day when we have enough tier lists, we can do a tier list of all my tier lists. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. As usual, keep brewing up those coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next